June 30th. Oh, scared me. So what did I do? Sorry, I'm a little tired. Just finished meditating. Let's start there. It always feels so good when I see the purple in the movement. It feels good. But today it was very, it started off, there was just, the color was here, but it was like in a V, like it was coming in. And then it did this circle, like, movement where I was like, yeah, like that. Like this, coming down like this. The movement was like circular like this. And then it took up, so it's the shadow, right? The shadow going like this, and then everything else is like purple. And then I don't remember what movement it was, but there was purple. What stood out, it was still going like this. It was still going like this. And that's why, because I remember when it would come down, I actually, there was this, like I could feel it on my face. Like there was just this tingling, like I could just feel it. I don't know how to explain it. Like it was coming, I could just feel it on my face every time it would go down. Like if I was not being immersed like the other ones where I was like in it. It was like I could feel the energy. That's what it felt like. Like I could feel the energy on my face every time it would do this. And then it switched. And the movement was more like pulling away. And I felt that too, if that's what stood out the most for me was the feeling, when the tingling sensation around here, when it would come down, and then I could feel it pulling away. I thought that was interesting for me. Like, oh, that's something new. The other thing I wanted to talk about. So I've been reading this book. I read this book a little bit more, and I know now why it's called Undertour. So she explains this really interesting awareness that I didn't know just about the Bible and the dreams in the Bible, and the progression of how they were accepted. And then there was a point where there was a rejection or a marginalization, she says, of dreaming prophets. And it came with the situation of Aaron and Miriam in Numbers 12, I guess. God chastises the prophetess Miriam and her brother Aaron for questioning their brother Moses' leadership. God tells the pair that all prophets but Moses receive visions and dreams. But with Moses, God speaks clearly, not in riddles. God then banishes Miriam. Why not Aaron? I don't know. Miriam seems to be the main target for God's rage, right? The beginning of possible feminine blame. So anyways, this text marks a change sometime in the biblical period from the prophecy of dreams to the prophecy of Moses. And then it goes on to talk about how the Torah became a fixed text. And so again, this is where people have this confusion, not confusion, belief, right? In terms of who wrote the Bible. And so how the Torah became a fixed text, and how authorities, both in the Bible and in the Talmudic era, I'm assuming they're all males regardless, began to be nervous about treating dreams as revelation, lest they contradict the text, and that's cited. So that made me think, I'm like, there was this nervousness about treating dreams as revelations. So there's this awareness that people were still having dreams, right? This awareness that people were still having dreams. And then the worry about contradicting the text. So then she goes on to say that this shift in the preferred medium of prophetic transmission, as recorded in the Bible, is consistent with a larger historical development occurring throughout the Near East and the Levant. In The Alphabet versus the Goddess, Leonard Schlein explores how the shift in alphabetic writing moved cultures towards text and away from images as a primary source of wisdom. So the development of text, printing, right? Alphabets, and that shift that occurred, making my contract, gotta work on my contract, making us focus more on text, right, versus what we receive, our images, because in that time period everything was being converted to text. And then there's this fear of, well, if I put it into text and then it changes, what's that process gonna look like if I have to change it? I have to reprint it all over again, right? What does that say about the first text, right? Then that is not valid, right? And so that just got me thinking, this fear of change, this fear of a worry of having to shift what you write, right? Or what you say. And so, and then she talks about how the writer in that book believes that it also coincided with the devaluing of the feminine, specifically a devaluing of the image of the goddess. It's also quoted or cited. This shift away from image is the same shift that moves the biblical authorities towards textual prophecy and away from dreams. And so then, and then someone else, a theologian, Natalie Weaver writes, when revelation and truth are buttoned up in ancient texts and managed by sentinels of tradition, quote, dreaming is far too perilous, too personal, and too idiosyncratic to be received and directed as an important place of existential beingness. So just, again, right, how it existed, right? It existed. But these developments kind of started pushing away the acceptance and the emphasis and the value of dreams, because the value was shifting to actual books and text and reading and letters. And then the Zohar, I don't know who the Zohar is, hints at something saying like prophecy in the world is male, but the dream in the world is female. If we're looking at energy, right? Dreams are creation, right? You can look at it as creation, and prophecy is more of the like what you speak it, right? Like the creation, the continuing of the creation, right? It's like, the feminine energy has the map, but the masculine energy paves the way, right? Dreams, prophecy. I'm seeing it in that way, like that there's this balance of the need for both, right? But if we have both feminine and masculine energies within us, then the dream state, the dream world, right, is our feminine energy, like giving us the guidance, and the prophecy is the map. So it's like one step behind, right? Not one step behind, but it's one step before. The dream state is what gives us the map, right? And then we take action. 3. That's 3. That's 3. That's 3. Post-its. Dreams. Map. the way. The path. So then it says, not only are dreams not codified text, they are not even text, which is so true. And she put, they are images accompanied by feelings and voices. We may construct narratives out of them, but these narratives generally do not make sense according to our waking mind. Which totally makes sense. That goes back to the whole symbolism that I saw this, but emotionally there was another feeling to it, right? Dream images unmoored from linear thought and normative expectation have the potential to introduce something original into our minds, a seed that can grow into an idea, a transformation, even a new way of being. This is the essence of revelation. And I paused right there because that part alone, I'm just like, OMG, there was this awareness within me, right? Of people, me, right? How I used to believe in the Bible and the fear that a lot of people have about revelation, right? The end, the books at the end, right? And how when we look at this term, revelations, it's really this awareness of it's just an awareness, right? That will come to be. And so then I'm listening to all this fear of change, right? Fear of shifting what the text says, right? Hence why a lot of people are like, well, it's not in the Bible. Clearly it's not in the Bible, right? like the new stuff is clearly not there, right? Like it's clearly not there for a reason, because it's society has moved on. We've evolved, right? There's new stuff that has paved the way. But what stood out more was the seed that can grow into an idea, a transformation, even a way of being. This is the essence of revelation. So then, hearing other people say, the end times are coming, the end times are coming. I sat in my car as I was reading this, and I was just like, oh my God. It's those people, right? Me, I used to be one, right? Who believes that the world is going to come to an end. If enough people believe it, if enough people believe that, then that's what will come, right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, like, they don't even realize that they're doing it. They don't even realize that they're doing it because they don't understand that your thoughts have power, your beliefs have power, right? I mean, a person's belief over the course of life, right, of years ago, has evolved, and there's this momentum that has built to the point of now that people still believe it, right? Because people haven't challenged it, or enough people, right, in that part of the world, in that culture, right, of religion, believe that it's going to have a certain outcome. And so by default, they're creating this outcome because that's where their attention is. And that made me sad to know that people are creating that outcome. Hence, right, why history repeats itself. Why history repeats itself. We're perpetuating it without even realizing it. Instead of looking at, revelation as more of this, where it reveals itself, right? The end of that cycle, right? For it to expand into the next cycle. That's what stood out for me. That's what stood out. So, the title for the book, Under Torah, she puts, if canonical revelation in Jewish tradition, which comes from above to below, is called the Torah, we might call the dream world the Under Torah, a deep well of truth that lies hidden and bubbles up from beneath, shifting our notions of divinity and prophecy. It's very interesting. I just want to highlight that. Yeah. Got a little emotional yesterday, only because of this. I found some old pictures. Of my past life. And I think there was just this, longing to be held, to have, just someone to bounce off ideas, and just the awareness that I was thinking about this fire sign, most recent fire sign, and I haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay. But I was thinking about him, just how good he felt, and I was thinking all the things I wanted to do to him. All the things I wanted to do to him. Sexually, of course. And just how I triggered him too. I was thinking about that. How I triggered him when I pulled back. Right? Cycle repeats. The cycle repeats. Only this time I spoke up afterwards, but yeah. And then thinking, he wasn't that interested to hey, what happened? To question it. Just very accepting. Very accepting. But I know I triggered him after that. I triggered him after that. He didn't say it in the same way that I did, but I knew. I was just thinking about him. How good he felt. And, but then reminding myself, I'm like, no. He didn't listen. And then I thought about my ex for a little bit. I had a dream about him. That he was, we were making out on the couch. I think it was my ex. But he was a little nervous. He was a little nervous about being seen. He was nervous about being seen. And I was putting it felt like we were in school, almost, because it felt like I was in school, and I even walked into a class where it was all males, but I knew I needed to be in there. It was weird because I remember walking in there all men, but there was this knowing, I'm like, I'm supposed to be in here. And so the part where my ex is on top of me and we're on the couch, right, making out, and but he's embarrassed, like insecure or worried of being seen, being caught. So I'm trying to put remember those old dividers in elementary school, and I was putting it there. I was like, there, no one can see us. Anyways, all right. Yeah. Clean and do some work. It's Thursday, so we have the markets back. I'm excited about that. All right. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.